Hey everyone, hello and welcome, TonyBingGaming here. For this particular test centre video I'll be having a look at Ironman. Now, unlike some of the other characters that have received some pretty large changes, he falls into the bracket of characters that have had slight changes to skills and traits that mix things up a little bit, so this probably will be quite familiar, but it does have some nice changes despite that. So let's have a look at them. We'll start off with energy beams. Okay, so with this particular section we're starting off looking at repulse or blast, so that's just your basic range attack there, nothing's changed. And then you have micro missiles, same idea as before, they're on the low 3-second cooldown, so you always want to spam that. Then you have unibeam, same again. Wrist rocket, same idea, you can modify this through a trait to give it the burning dot back as well. And you then have channeled repulsors, followed up by pulse bolt, which is your stun move. You have your range spender, repulsor barrage, and you have Jericho bombardment, adding vulnerability, and then finally you've got your signature one-off. So all very familiar to anyone that's played Ironman there. So let's have a look at the defense systems skills next. So this is more your melee side of things. You've got your dash in here, which is with the same charges, but it does actually have a buff on it, so you've got attack and move speed whenever you dash. And then we've got, however you say that, Voltaic Punch, which is his basic melee attack. And then you've got Arc Reactor Overload there, and that's restoring 40% of your max suit power, cooldown 15 seconds. You can't pull the cooldown down on it anymore like you could with points in it on live. Jet Assisted Slam, which is his weaken. And then Death from Above, which is Knockdown. Coolant Blast, which will slow and freeze enemies. Jet Thrust Punch, and then finally Jet Thrust Punch again there. Hopefully that's going to be a new skill that's going to get added in there. I presume it will be, fingers crossed. So let's look at the talents and traits, and things do get a bit more interesting here. So for this section we start off by looking at Arc Reactor. Now, similar to live, this gives you a bonus based on your maximum suit power. It's starting off at 0.1% here, but through traits we can actually change that. Your archetype is Warden, which gives you a bonus from strength and intelligence. So strength will be buffing physical damage, deflect rating, and intelligence is mental and summon allied damage there. And then we're on to suit power and his primary resource. Now, when you're not actually using any attacks, it regens at a rate of 32 per second. They're not massively useful, those kind of options, really, because you want to be in combat most of the time. It's an action RPG, that's what they're all about. So next up we have adaptive armor. He's got health regen here. His archetype is tough, which gives him defense rating, deflect rating, and similar to other melee heroes, he's got the 8% for 3 seconds when you hit with a melee power. So for the first trait line, you'll notice with these traits they are kind of either buffing the laser side of things, the missile side of things, or the melee. So this particular one is missile targeting, and when you hit with a power, automatic missiles are fired out there. And then next up, this is quite different, it's unstable core. So when you hit an enemy, trigger a minor arc reactor overload, restoring 20% of your maximum suit power. Only occurs when you have less than 80%. So you're really choosing this if you want to get rid of spirit options altogether and get rid of having to have this on your bar. So that's interesting. Saying that, if you look at this particular talent in the same line, overclock, and this seems a no-brainer how powerful it is. So we select this, you then be gaining 0.2 and 0.1 of your max suit power, and given we're going to be able to get our suit power quite high through infinity and so on, I think that's a no-brainer. You use this, so hopefully unstable core could be moved to something like an Omega Infect instead. So we'll deactivate it anyway. I'm going to trait line 2. So you've got reactive armor. So with this you get defense rating. When you get hit by an enemy you have damage absorbed. The duration of that's 5 seconds and the cooldown is 5 seconds as well. And next up you have life support. So this is bonus health. Your suit power drops by 50, and when you're defeated you regenerate 100% your maximum health and suit power. And then we have Extremis Healing Nanites. So this is health regen 146 a second. Takes away quite a bit of suit power, it takes away 100. And when you use an arc reactor overload, it applies rapid healing to you and your allies, restoring 20% of your maximum health per second for 6 seconds. So I do like that. I like the way it kind of goes up in tiers and that there's no spirit cost, or there's no active spirit cost in this one. Then you have your 50, then you have your 100 as you get more powerful, so that's quite interesting. And then we have upgrade arc reactor on the third line here. So this is suit power bonus, and arc reactor overload gains the following effects. It gets a larger power radius and energy damage. I'll activate it to see if you can actually notice the difference here. I won't fire the first one because it's a 15-second cooldown and we don't want to sit around for that time. There we go, you see them all firing off there, the various ones, that's a bit different. And then next up we have upgrade missiles payload. So missile power damage is getting buffed. Wrist rocket gains that damage dot we were talking about earlier on. And then we have upgrade coolant systems lastly, which is coolant blast is a cooldown and causes enemies to take 100% from your next jet assisted slam or death from above. So for trait line 4, we've got upgrade targeting computer. Repulsor barrage transforms into missile salvo, and micro missiles gains the following effects: projectiles fired 12, cooldown increased 3 seconds. So if we actually look at this particular one here when we activate this, we'll look at repulsor barrage as well there. So let's have a look at this. It doesn't appear to be changed. Go forward a little bit more. There we go. We can see lots of missiles firing out and the cooldown's higher on that there. I'll fire it off one more time. There we go. I prefer the 6-second cooldown because with the 3 seconds you're just feeling like you're having to spam it all the time there. Actually this would be repulsor barrage that changes, my mistake. If we go back here we'll show that. There we go. That's nice enough. If you combine that with this here with these missiles, yeah, it looks pretty nice. Imagine a missile build could be quite fun. They're really going to be firing off in every direction. So let's see. Next up we have upgrade armor hydraulics, and this is melee power damage. Death from above gains a damage rating, and melee power damage goes up for 4 seconds when you use it, and the cooldown of death from above goes up by 4 seconds as well. And then we have upgrade micro lasers. So with this, the one-off cooldown drops by 5 seconds, and channeled repulsors transforms into micro lasers. So we'll activate this so you can actually see it. Looks quite nice, this one. Yeah, there we go. You can see it coming out his wrist. Do like a look at that. And then we'll move on to his 5th trait line here. So you've got upgrade repulsors. Repulsor and micro laser damage increased by 10%. Unibeam gains the following effects: 100% damage bonus, gains an 8-second cooldown as well, so it's getting turned into kind of a nice cooldown move there. And then you have upgrade orbital interface. Jericho bombardment transforms into satellite strike, so it's got a low cooldown, so I'll show you it with and without. Going back and forth here. So there's your usual one. And then take one moment to get out of combat actually. Oh no, it's allowing me to change it. So if we activate that again in a moment, you'll notice satellite strike slightly different. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, there we go. At the end there, you can see the kind of little bits of lightning come down. I don't know if that's a finished visual because it seems a little bit underwhelming and a bit strange. I don't see how a satellite strike would cause lightning, so that may well be subject to change. So this is interesting. This is kind of bringing you along to the war machine side of things, where your melee powers generate heat, and while you're above a certain amount of heat they gain damage and so on. It's interesting. Personally, I found the heat mechanic on War Machine a bit of a pain because you were managing heat and managing spirit, and that's just not the kind of playstyle I like. But for players that do like War Machine, it's quite nice to put this in there so you can move over to that side of play if you like. So overall he's nice enough. He doesn't, no major glaring bugs or anything like that. He's got a couple of nice little changes, and we've still got the same ult, unfortunately, which I think a lot of people were hoping they would change, but there's still maybe time for that to happen. But nice simple enough one to look at. And for the next video I have no idea how to look at. Actually, I'm running out of ones that I'm more confident with talking about. So if you guys can even suggest one, and I'll have a little read up on them if I'm not too sure, and I'll get another video out for you. Okay.